Hello, it looks like I have somebody joining. I'm just kind of waiting till I see some comments here so they know that people are live. This is the first time I've done, sorry, I'm hearing some static. Very, oh shit. All right, guys, I'm streaming on like three different platforms, so please bear with me because I've not done this before and I'm just hoping that it turns out okay. It looks like I'm up and running on, oh, there we go. Okay. Just had to mute myself on all the other ones so that I can make sure I can see the comments on all these platforms. I don't know if there's comments on Twitter. Never gone live on Twitter. Didn't even know you could go live on Twitter. And then I just tried to figure it out today, and it looks like I'm live on all three places. So that's a win. I'm only seeing comments here on, oh, somebody's on Rumble, and I'm seeing comments on YouTube. So I'm probably going to focus there. Good evening. I'm seeing some of my people that follow me from TikTok. Just in case most of the people that are in here, you know who I am, but in case you don't know who I am, I'll just give you like a super quick recap. So basically, I never cared about social media. They locked me down in 2020 and I stumbled upon this app called TikTok, started making content. It started out as silly little jokes, just doing like, the trends, all the, basic shit that everybody does when you get on that app. And then around October of 2020, I had really started paying attention to politics. My eyes were open. I realized that something was just not right about everything that was going on. I'm not going to go into a lot of that because I know that's one of the things you can't talk about on this platform specifically. But I just knew that something was wrong. So I started just diving into not only just politics, but probably every rabbit hole that possibly I could find to go down. And it just was an extremely eye-opening experience. And now I go live. I have all these like people that seem to want to pay attention to what I have to say, and I still don't even exactly understand why. I do not have a political background. I'm not trained in any sort of journalism. I don't pretend I have all the answers or facts or anything. I am simply just a normal human being navigating this last crazy 4 years that we've had with some common sense. And it just seems that common sense is not so common anymore. So I have to find other like minded people with common sense, and we all need to stick together. And I found the giant group of those people on TikTok. So, as crazy it is, and as silly of an app as it is, I really, really gained like a huge community there. But the censorship there has gotten to be out of control to the point where I can't even um I can't even go live, post anything without getting like violation after violation, getting censored. Um it's ridiculous. So I've got to start exploring other options. So here I am. Sorry. I had said I would post a video at 8 p.m. and I almost forgot to do that. So let's just check out the comments here. And then I have a bunch of topics that I wanted to talk about with you guys. Maybe queue up some videos so that we can get some information. But sound is working. Good evening from Kentucky. Cue the Jeopardy music. Fellow Patriots. I just got the Rumble alert. Might jump over there. Yeah, anyone that wants to join me on Rumble, awesome. So I'm an American Patriot. I really don't understand Rumble at all whatsoever, guys. Like I don't understand how you grow your platform there. As far as YouTube, I don't even understand how that happened, to be perfectly honest. I think it was my shorts posting a lot of my silly like videos because I still try to do some of the silly stuff too. I mean, it is what got me my following to start. The politics kind of came later. And, when I started to dare to actually talk about it. Um, but let's see, there's a few big things I kind of wanted to talk about. And then I'm going to give you a list and you guys tell me which ones you want to talk about first. One thing I definitely want to do, I have not heard this Tom McDonald Ben Shapiro song, Facts, that is everyone is talking about. I guess it is topping the Billboard charts. I just heard that it beat like Justin Timberlake and Britney Spears or something like that as far as ratings goes, which that's pretty flipping amazing. Um, I wanted to talk about the Ilhan Omar remarks and whether she should be expelled from Congress. Iran, Biden's response to, the 3 soldiers that we lost. Uh, the I kind of weird shit going on with finding out that UN kind of funded the Hamas attack, which is kind of crazy. And then Shane Gillis repping Bud Light. Definitely want to go into that and what your thoughts of that are, and what I'll tell you what mine are. Articles of impeachment for Mayorkas and the Take the Border Back convoy. Those are just a few of the things that I kind of wanted to chat about. So you guys shout it out in the comments what you'd like to hear the most, and I'll kind of go from there. Good evening. So it's a small, I'm so not used to this small group of people. I appreciate you all so much for being here. I'm used to TikTok where I have, such a large amount of followers that generally watch my lives. So I spend most of my time just responding to the comment section. I'm going to have to create what I'm going to talk about because I don't have as many people in here making comments. When you get censored, you know you're doing something right. Yeah, that seems to be the way these days. It seems to be that when you are on the right track, that is when you start getting canceled. So we kind of have to wear it with a badge of honor at this point rather than looking at it as some sort of defeat. That's for certain. Iran is more the ongoing, never ending war for Israel. Yeah, it does seem like, I mean, the Iran and Palestinian thing, it's been going on for a really long time. It's probably going to go on for a long time. I just think that um, finding out that the UN was involved, although not shocking, I feel like at this point, like, why are we connected to them? Like, Trump was right again. Like, we shouldn't be involved. We shouldn't be part of them anymore, especially if they're, funding terrorism. Regardless of which side you lie on and that whole thing, I'm not going into all of that, but the truckerless convoy. So yeah, is there actual truckers? Is it because I'm getting the idea that it's a lot more like campers and just like regular folks, regular people. I'm not sure if that's true or not. I actually thought about, I have a built out van, and I almost just threw my shit in there and was like, you know what? I'm going to Texas. And then I was like, that's a little too erratic. I'm not going to do that. But I I had seen whether the numbers were correct or not, that there was like over like it was some astronomical number that I almost didn't believe, but I thought it said like 700,000 like people were going to join this, and I was like, that that seems like an unrealistic number. But I found that number in 2 different places, so I was like, hmm, did they misreport that number in a couple places? The YouTube feed is significantly ahead of the Rumble feed. I started I started Riverside, which is where I'm streaming from at 7:59 to make sure everything connected properly, and then YouTube connected immediately. So Twitter and Rumble connected at exactly 8 o'clock, which would be about a minute behind. So that being said, I would have had assumed that it would have just picked up where I was speaking, but maybe it went and started at the beginning and it's not exactly live, because I'm looking at all 3 and you're right. Like it's not matching up on my computer. So I apologize for that. Don't watch it on 2 platforms. Maybe it might, or just mute one of them. If you are watching me on both so that I'm getting that view on both, thank you. You're awesome. Just mute one of them. Here in Ohio, no media coverage about the truckers in Texas. The only reason that I knew about it specifically is because I have a friend that is out there, and my friend is in communication with him, and she asked me if I would specifically make a video about that. But his name is Ivan Rakelin, and he is like, I don't know if he's in Texas or if he was in Virginia where it was starting. I think that's might be where he was when I saw the videos that he had made, and I'm assuming that maybe he's going out there. I'm not positive. But she had asked me to make a video just to like let everybody know where to go website wise, to find the route and the dates of the rallies. So take the border back convoy. Scott, let's see, I got the man. Nobody's going to help me but myself. Working man's a sucker. Bronx Tale, man. I haven't heard of, or I haven't thought of the Bronx Tale in I don't know how many years. Is the Bronx Tale, there's this one scene, I think it's the Bronx Tale, where it was so old fashioned back in the day. It was like you could tell if a woman was a good woman if you opened the door for her and she got in and then she reached over and unlocked your door before you got in. You knew she was a worthy good woman. Is that Bronx Tale? Am I right on that? Like I remember that scene. I remember seeing that scene when I was young. So when I started dating, I always made sure that I reached over and unlocked the door. Of course, that's dating myself because that was sort of the days of not automatic locks, right? All right. What else? What else? All right. Well, I wanted to talk first. We'll just go into first the articles of impeachment against Mayorkas. Oh, I did definitely want to talk about there was a big fucking excuse me. I say the F word a lot normally. I don't know, I guess am I not allowed to probably on YouTube. Um Zuckerberg had to apologize. It's like they had to literally browbeat it out of him to all the people for um the mental health of their kids today. That was a very interesting scene to watch. So do you think, I mean, do you think Mayorkas should be impeached? What are your thoughts? That was 100% Brock's tail. Good, 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 good. I thought so. Violence brewing on the Texas border. See, all right. So since the two things are kind of related, I'm just going to go into like my thoughts of what's going on. So yes, awesome that these truckers are going out there. The one thing I'm a little bit concerned about is, are they going to turn this into some sort of January 6th thing? You know, they all go out there, they just want to be nonviolent, they want to make their voices heard, and then somehow they're infiltrated by God only knows what groups, whether it's Antifa or the feds or whatever, and it turns violent, and we've got another January 6th on our hands. Little bit concerned about that. Um, Another thing that kind of annoys me because I've kind of seen a lot of stuff on both sides when it comes to Greg Abbott and if he's kind of playing both sides in a sense. And I feel like, okay, great. Yeah, you're doing this now. Fantastic. I don't want to take that away from you. That's great. You should have fucking done you should have done it 3 years ago. What took you so long? Why did you wait until we had 11 million illegal immigrants? And those are just the ones that we know about here in the country. Why did he wait that long? So kudos that he's doing it now, but is it all just for show? Because that's what I'm a little bit concerned about. Is it's all just for show? He's just trying to make it look like he's doing the right thing and he's taking Biden on and he's doing, and it's just like, first, and then we also know that Biden could make an executive order and stop this right here and now. But here he is, he's going to blame the Republicans. That's why we're not, I can't, Congress won't pass anything. They don't want to come to the table. Yeah, because your bill is shit. Your bill is literal shit. And any Republican who signs that bill might as well call themselves a Democrat, basically. So that being said, no, they're not going to sign this bill, but he could take executive action. So I just feel like the whole thing is just this 9 months before the election, all for show. I don't know. Just my thoughts. Here in Texas, they won't FAFO. They won't make it home. Yeah, we hope. We hope, but it's just after what happened with January 6th, I don't trust anything when it comes to, it's like these pro Hamas people can try to tear down the gates at the White House, not want arrest. But you got people literally singing hymns outside of a abortion clinic and they're getting arrested, grandmothers arrested. Like that's just crazy talk. It's just we're still in this place where people deny that there's a two-tiered system of justice, but grandma is getting arrested for singing hymns outside of an abortion clinic. And people that are supporting terrorists trying to tear down the barricades to the White House, no arrests. I don't know what proof people need. I don't know if they're just willingly blinded by this or if they just choose to like keep putting their heads in the sand so that they can just deny this is all happening. Um, Long time no see. Yeah, I'm just got my new setup. I've got a bunch of new like I live in the Keys. So I live in the Keys and the Wi-Fi here is crap. My cell service is zero. Even at my house, I have to make phone calls only on Wi-Fi, right? And my Wi-Fi was crap. So I went and got this like super souped up Netgear package and my computer's hardwired. My husband really like came through so I can finally do this. So I'm so excited because I kept being like I wanted to stream and every time I would stream it would lag and just like get jacked up and I would have to just quit. And I just really kind of quit YouTube for a while because I got one violation. Oh, so fun fact. Fun fact when you get a violation on YouTube to get it removed, you have to go to re-education camp. Like you have to answer these 7 like re-education questions. So I know I've seen the light. I understand all the misinformation that I spoke. So I'm going to try to stay away from those topics. So my goal was to cut off YouTube at 9 o'clock and then stay on X and Rumble where I can actually talk freely because I have to self censor on YouTube, but I can talk freely on Rumble and X. So I may cut off the YouTube live if I can figure out how to do that at 9 o'clock. And all y'all in here in YouTube, if you want like the real conversation where I can just say whatever the F I want, then you can pop on over to Rumble or X because I'm really trying to grow both of those platforms astronomically as well. Let's see. Let's see. All right. So let's go into Mayorkas. Should he be impeached? I mean, I think he should be impeached. He's clearly not doing his job. He's doing the bidding of Joe Biden. He is allowing illegal immigrants to completely infiltrate our country. It's an invasion at this point. Um, and I think the most terrifying thing isn't the ones we know that are coming in, it's the ones that are here and we don't know because we don't know who they are. And they've literally admitted, and Mayorkas himself has admitted that there is numerous people probably on the terrorist watch list in our country somewhere. And they're there and they're not acting like that's a big deal. Like, I'm sorry, bro, but that's a flipping big deal. We don't know where they are. No idea. No clue. And we have all these cities. I mean, I feel very, very blessed because I live in the Keys. So my governor, although I did not want him to be president because this girl is Trump all the way, but glad he dropped out and saw the light and decided to come back to Florida and govern because we were like, oh, like we have a governor. I forgot I had a governor because he's MIA because he's running for president at the wrong flipping time. Like, hello, I don't know who worked on his campaign that was whispering in his ear telling him that this was the time, but I hope he is much more choosy in the future on who he takes advice from because he follows some really shit advice and almost destroyed his career. Anyway, that being said, he doesn't allow like there was a period of time, I think it was around Christmas last year, where we were having boats just coming up literally on the key that I live on. Like just boats of illegal immigrants coming from I don't know where, maybe Cuba, maybe all these different places and washing up on our shores. And he was having no part of that. So I live in a state that, really, really takes care of illegal immigration. Not allowed. We have no sanctuary cities, nothing of that sort. But you're seeing in all these sanctuary cities, Chicago and New York, kind of the biggest ones everybody's talking about, but it's happening, everywhere in a lot of these liberal run cities. I know there's some stuff going on in Boston right now and people are getting a little bit fed up and up in arms. I'm from Maine, New England, kind of a liberal area now. And the resources that should be going to Americans are now going to illegal immigrants. Like children are having to stay home and go to remote learning because there is illegal immigrants being housed in their school, or airports. Airports are literally like a homeless shelter now. Like that sounds like we have to go through like an hour of frigging like security and being searched just to get on a damn airplane. But now we've got like the airport's a homeless shelter. That seems safe. I've not been to one of those airports yet. Hopefully I'm going to Washington D.C. in just a few weeks, actually. I'm going to CPAC with a bunch of friends. Super excited about that. Um, no idea what to expect at the Washington airport because it seems like the type of place that would be totally down for turning it into a homeless shelter. But I digress. The resources are going to people that came here illegally. They're going to criminals. Like, I don't mean to be a jerk, but not many of these people are actually seeking asylum. Like, most of the people, I even actually saw an interview recently with RFK who went down to the border and he was interviewing people. And he was like, out of the people that he interviewed, only a couple were actually seeking asylum. The rest of them weren't, but they were all let in. So them trying to say that like everybody's seeking asylum, not true. We know it's not true, but they lie about it. Woke Tears water. If you want water made from pure snowflake meltdowns, make sure you check out Woke Tears water. They are amazing and hilarious. It's worth just going to their website and checking out the website because of how hilarious it is. Let's see. I think it passed today. What, the convoy? Literally committed, should be punished accordingly. I guess it will be down. I will be downloading X. Make sure you let me later. On X, I am 11 Stacy's mom. On TikTok, I was Stacy's mom for a really long time. My handle is still Stacy's mom, but I actually changed it to my real name because people are calling me Stacy. I don't understand how they got my name must be Stacy out of a handle Stacy's mom, but they did, and I just got tired of being called Stacy when it's not my name. So I changed it to I left my handle Stacy's mom, but it actually says my actual name. So you can either find me by going and searching Bethany Bartlett on X or 11 Stacy's mom. But X is I mean, it's one of the only platforms where conservatives have free speech now, other than Rumble, because um, I mean, there's still people pissed off saying that X is not, full free speech anymore. But I can tell you right now, it's more free speech than any other platform. And I'm just standing here crossing my fingers that he brings back Vine, because Vine was originally, I believe, Twitter. And that's kind of what TikTok was modeled after. And TikTok's doing this weird thing, well, other than the censorship and the bullcrap that way, where it started with short form video and now it's forcing everybody to do long videos. Well, you literally made a platform that it shortened everyone's attention span, and now you're telling those same people that they have to watch longer. Like, it's flipping ridiculous. Like, I think they're going to crash and burn, and I'm just praying that Elon Musk is getting like Vine or whatever he wants to call it souped up and ready to go, so when friggin' TikTok crashes and burns, he can scoop right in and snag everybody up. Actually drinking tears from a filthy Democrat. Yeah, so funny story. I was literally driving back from to the Keys from Delray Beach where I moved from, and I look up and I see this big billboard and it says Woke Tears Water. And I'm like, that's not a thing. Is that a thing? And I Googled it and I was like, holy shit, it is literally a thing. And it's hilarious. And kind of like the Daily Wire, I love that they're like, stop giving your money to companies that hate you. Give your money to like, corporations that support your beliefs. Because I'm a huge, huge, huge Daily Wire fan. And so I tend to, and I love like I've not purchased any of the Jeremy's products, but I love what he's doing. And I do want to maybe get some chocolate because Valentine's Day is coming up, so girls got to have some chocolate, right? Trying to run. What's my opinion about the Texas Mexico border situation? Okay, so I keep getting off track. So I kind of mentioned already ETA for going on X. You mean my ETA for going on X? Because according to my computer, I'm on X right now. So unless I'm doing something wrong over there, it looks like I'm supposed to be on. But add in the middle of a live stream. Add in the middle of a live stream. I don't know. Do you have ad free or do you have ads on your YouTube? I don't know how that works. I don't have any control over that. And I don't think there's ads on Rumble. So if you guys are not on Rumble, I would think about getting on Rumble. It definitely is worth it just for the simple fact that it's much less there's no censorship. So anyway, um so I feel like Greg Abbott is a little too late, but I do appreciate him standing up against Biden. I just wish that he had done it 3 years ago. It's kind of like what took you so long. So now here we are, 9 months before the um election. We've got 11 million illegal immigrants saturating our country. And I think that the plan is, I think we all know the plan is most likely they're hoping there'll be future Democratic voters. But I know they're redoing the census in 26. So when they redo the census, I am under the understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, please, because I'm not like a genius on all of this stuff and I could misspeak. It's not because I'm trying to say I know everything. If I'm incorrect, please correct me. But when they redo the census, even if they can't vote, they count them in the population. So they can count them there. So if we've been trying to force them to go to all these sanctuary cities, that might end up biting us in the ass because now they're going to go to all these sanctuary cities, which is all liberal areas, and they're going to redo the census. The population's going to come up, however, and they might actually get some, like, is it new delegates or how it's like, okay, so they're going to use this to literally gerrymander the entire flipping system. So if we do not win in 24, Republicans will never win again. Like if we do not win and win big, we'll never win again. I'm convinced of that. And that's like, other than the crime and the lack of resources and everything that this illegal immigration crisis is doing right now, that's what it's going to do in the future. So it's not just how dangerous it is right now, just all the effects that it's having on our own citizens. It's that it is going to literally change everything in 2 years, whether they can vote or not. And if it's up to them, they will have it so that they can vote in local elections. Well, guess where the biggest place you can make an impact is? Local elections. Like everyone thinks that the most important thing is voting for president. It is, I mean, that's important. Yeah, we want Donald Trump back, please, for the love of God, please. But local elections is truly where you can make the biggest impact when it comes to politics. Your sheriff, your local sheriff, I think people underestimate the fact that sheriffs have as much power as they have. And I know that their power is very different in every single different state. However, in some states, they have so much power that they can kind of use and abuse. So if they're a good guy and you got one of the good guys in there and he's on our side, fantastic. But if you've got someone in there that's going to manipulate the system and do shady AF shit, then that's going to really dirty up the politics in the whole area. Then you've got school board. That school board, where can we make the biggest change? School board. So right now, the reason, like, we are at a place where we have the lowest number of recruits for all of the military, I think, except maybe Marines. That could be, I could be wrong on that, but I feel like the Marines is the only ones that are meeting their quota at this point. And that's because we've taken out the Pledge of Allegiance, we've taken out any sort of patriotism. These like liberal institutions are basically teaching children to hate their country. So if you're being taught to hate your country at a very, very young age, when it comes 16, 17, 18, why the heck would you sign up for the Army, the Navy, the reserves, even like ROTC? Why would you do any of that? You've been taught to hate your country. No longer is it this, you know, patriotism and like, I'm doing service to my country, I'm fighting for my country, this is my duty. Some people feel called to that. The only people that are going to feel called to that is maybe someone who's been brought up with that patriotism and respect at home, and that's been, bred into them, but they're not getting it at school anymore. So if they're not getting it at school anymore, then we have what we're seeing with Gen Z right now, like the least amount of patriotism. Like they think that it is more appropriate to fly a LGBTQ flag than the American flag at this point. It's just an erosion of the moral fibers of our society, and it's happening at a really, really young age. Um, so your local school board elections, extremely, extremely important. So I digress very far from the southern border, but that is what's going to happen if this illegal immigration policy. No, well, I mean, if you even just enforce the rules that are on, like, that are there right now, it would be a huge improvement, but they're not even enforcing those. So I think Mayorkas should be impeached. He's clearly not doing his job. He is allowing this to happen. And yeah, I'm I'm here for it. I don't know that it will actually end up happening. I know there's a lot of talk. I'm to the point now where I literally feel like I don't even know what Republicans are doing. It's like someone said this yesterday, and I was like, "Oh my God, that is so true." It's like when you have these like super like Republican rhinos, I was like, I actually have more respect for a Democrat because they stabbed me in the face. I think it was Benny Johnson said this. A Democrat stabs you in the face, but the Republican rhino stabs you in the back. So we have all these people standing up saying that they speak for us, saying that they're doing the bidding of what we the people want. And they just stand up there and they talk and they don't do shit. And I'm so over it. Like anyone that's not grassroots, not backed by super PAC, I think they should literally all be primaried. We need term limits. We need just to get rid of all of them. I'm completely over it. Do they monetize? I wish more of the content creators would come to Rumble. Do they monetize? I think that they do monetize. I'm quite sure with my measly like 186 followers, I'm not monetized. But I'm sure if you're Dan Bongino, you're getting monetized for sure. Did the calendar take a, I honestly don't know about the sales of the calendar. We'll just put it this way. I was probably the least popular, least known person in that calendar. I don't even understand how I made it into that calendar other than Seth. I had kind of, when he first came on TikTok, I used to do videos for him for his wrapping paper and stuff like that. So he reached out and asked me to be in it. I think out of the kindness of his heart. It wasn't like all these girls that were in it that were much more known, like Riley Gaines and I don't even remember the is it the redheaded Josie, the redheaded libertarian. Like I don't know all of them by name. But they're very known, especially on like X and probably here on Rumble as well. I was like, people are probably like, who's this bitch in the workout gear? And that was because I own fitness centers. Like I was a fitness competitor for 7 years. I was an IFBB pro fitness competitor. So nutrition and fitness was my life for like 7 years. So I used to make jokes in a bikini on TikTok. So we should really talk about Nikki Haley being backed by the same guy that paid for E. Jean Carroll's case against Trump. I just saw this recently, and I also saw that her words on E. Jean Carroll. They asked her whether she thought that Trump was guilty. And she didn't come out and say Trump's guilty, but she said that she trusted the court system and she trusted the jurors and that they made the right decision, but that he shouldn't be removed from the ballot, that should still be up to we the people. So basically, you just called him the R word. I don't know what I'm allowed to say on YouTube. On TikTok, you can't even say the R word. So again, once I pop off of YouTube, I'll be a little bit like more uninhibited when I'm on just Rumble and X. But it will be weird to be on Rumble and X by myself here because there's not very many comments. You're good. Thank you so much. I'm actually like to just talk this much without comments, kind of. Um, this is really a test run for me, guys. So I just thank you so much for bearing with me here. I got really pissed because last night I had an amazing live on TikTok. I know I talk about TikTok a lot, but that's where I got my start. And then today, so I end my live, and today I get a notification that I'm now banned from live for 7 days because there was misinformation in my live. So my live had ended, and they went back and looked at it and decided after the fact that now I'm going to get a violation and I can't go live for like 7 days. So yeah, that's what's happening over there in Commie County. I just had a Joe Biden ad on your channel. Are you freaking kidding me? Oh my God. Yeah, Nikki is definitely a weasel. But one thing I did see is that, so I think is it South Carolina or Nevada? I can't remember. I think it's South Carolina. They're like Joe Biden's going to South Carolina to start campaigning, apparently. And he, as well as maybe some other Democratic candidates, are doing some speaking events. And the same people or the same man that is like in charge of all of that is also behind Nikki Haley's speaking event. So literally the Democrat guy that is in control of getting all these Democrat um, speaking functions is also dealing with Nikki Haley. So basically, she is completely a wolf in sheep's clothing at this point. Completely. Like we all know that she's got super PACs that are like being fed into by Dems that are funding her campaign now. And like she just comes out and says, "Oh, you guys are just jealous because I'm getting all the money or what have you," whatever stupid fucking things she says is. And as long as they're paying, we can laugh. Yes, he is. Yeah. So, but when you're literally the same people is like running the calendar for all the Democrat speaking events and Nikki Haley speaking event, you, you might as well just call yourself a freaking Democrat. Like, come on now. Like, the people are not like stupid. And that's the biggest thing that I've noticed. The difference between, I feel like, the liberal and the conservative party, or the Democrats and the Republicans, is that I feel like the Republican Party doesn't make it seem like they believe that their base is ignorant. Whereas the Democrats literally, like, I mean, they even make like, they're the ones that said that they think that certain demographics of people are not smart enough to make it to the place to get their ID. That's why voter ID is racist because those people are not that's what they believe. And they say that. And like, they say that, like, you're supporting a party that openly says that they think that you're freaking stupid. Like, awesome. Sign me fucking up. Bill Green screaming in another place while he's in his basement. Yeah, I know. I've seen all those. Like, I conspiracy theories, love them all day long. I'm considered a regular conspiracy theorist, but the ones where it's saying he's not in the White House and he's really somewhere else and blah blah blah. I'm not sure I totally buy all of that. Wouldn't be shocked by it certainly if I found out if it were true, but I can't actually say I totally believe that one. Let's see if I've. Am I referred to Hassan as? Yeah. So, oh shit, sorry. That's one of the things that I wanted to talk about because, of course, DeSantis, okay, grew a pair of balls after he drops out of the race. Um, and he basically says Ilhan Omar needs to be expelled from Congress. I do not disagree. I watched a bunch of the videos that she was talking about Somalia and how she's Somalia first and telling all of them to come here. This is their country. And then I saw the other one where she was speaking about like, I'm Somalian first, then I'm Muslim or something. And like, but basically what she's definitely not first is America first. It's probably last on her list. Like, I don't even think that she has allegiance of any sort whatsoever to America. And then today, this was fantastic. Like, the other squad members, they were asking them what they thought about it. And of course, what's the guy that pulled the fire alarm? He was basically saying, of course, this is an attack on her Muslim faith and blah blah blah. And AOC, the genius that she is, was like, it's racist. I haven't even heard any of the statements, but I'm sure it's racist because everything's racist, right? And then the one that's also she's got the case against her. They're investigating whether she misappropriated her like funds or something like that. Gave them to like her security boyfriend or something. I'm not sure if she's made a statement. She sounds like she's pretty tied up right now. But I just feel like I had seen another video maybe less than a month ago, and this was just city council. I think it was city council or possibly school board, but it was a local election, and someone was being sworn in essentially, and they wouldn't even say like whatever the oath was because they wouldn't even swear to like uphold um the constitution of whatever state it was of for America. Like, you hate America so much, why are you running for city council? You can't even say the words to the oath because you are basically outright saying I'm not going to support this. Why do we allow that in our city council? How did we fall so far that you are allowed to absolutely hate this country and serve in its government. And we don't think that's dangerous. I'm sorry, but that is absolutely dangerous. Yeah, the she married her brother thing, I did look into that. It sounds like, I mean, I'm not saying I don't know what goes on behind closed doors for any stretch, but it sounded like she did it to get him into the country. Although now, if she just waited a few years, he could have just walked over the border. So why do you need to do that, right? Someone is now a monthly supporter. Oh my God. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I love that. I don't even know what it means. I don't even know what a monthly supporter is. So please bear with me for getting excited about that. Because I don't even know what it is. But it sounds like support, and I'm totally here for that. So thank you so much, Shaky. You rock. Let's see. From the run to a job beginning. Right from the inside. Yeah. And I wonder what she's thinking being on the board of Boeing right now with like Boeing's like airplanes falling apart in midair. What is your name on X? It is 11 Stacy's mom. Or you can find me, I believe, by my real name, which is Bethany Bartlett. Let's see. She is Somalian. Ilhan Omar is Somalian. She talks about her love of Somalia, Somalia first. Minnesota, I believe, where she is a very, very large Somalian population there, which is why she continues to keep getting voted in. I also know when I'm from Maine originally, and I lived in Portland, Maine for probably 11 years before I moved to Florida. And there was a very, very large Somalian population in Portland, Maine as well. And I don't honestly, geographically, I probably couldn't point to Somalia on a map. Geography is probably one of my worst subjects. So I don't know if it seems like it would be a warm place, like warm year round. I'm not sure why on the God's green earth they decided to pick Portland, Maine. It's like beautiful like 3 months a year, and the rest of the time it's flipping cold. But Bethany is a very Maine name, is it? I don't know many Bethanys, to be perfectly honest. I've only met 2 in my entire life. So, if you fail to affirm, you can be replaced by anyone who takes the obligations. Don't let them swear in by taking the oath. Interesting. I was not aware of that. I don't know if you guys can hear that terrible static on your end, but I apologize if you can. Might just be my end here. All right. What else do I have on my list? I do want to definitely talk about the Shane Gillis and Bud Light thing. It's on the Horn of Africa. Okay, so I thought it was in Africa, but I was like, I'm not gonna just like throw that out there and have somebody like laugh me into oblivion because I'm so bad with geography. But I actually my first roommate when I went to college, I think she was from Somalia. She was very, very sweet. It's on the Horn of Africa. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. East coast of Africa, and the point, the northeast tip. Yeah. All right. And that is what I was thinking. I wasn't 100 on that, so I wasn't going to throw it out there. Let's see. I did want to just kind of peek and see what I found about that. Like, do you think that this thing with Ilhan Omar would actually go anywhere? Like they throw George Santos out. Okay, I'm just gonna be completely honest here. Whether you love or hate George Santos, okay, if all the fraud proves to be true, yeah, that's pretty shady. Like, definitely, I get it. But none of that, he hadn't even gone through any trials yet. So it was like they kicked him out of Congress prior to even being found 100% guilty for all this fraud and actual like stuff that he'd done. But we've got literally somebody up there that hates our flipping country, and we're going to allow her to continue staying in while she's still calling the president of Somalia her president. So even though she's like a progressive and she's in the squad and all that, I don't think that they love Joe Biden by any stretch, but they're gonna dislike Trump even more. So it's like, but she doesn't even look at the president of our country as her president. So does it even matter at the end of the day? She totally still considers the president of Somalia her president. So like I'm just one of these people that's like, if you're gonna move to our country, you don't have to leave your culture and your heritage behind, but I do think that it's extremely important to learn our language. I don't think that we should be learning like I don't think that it should be so diluted that English is no longer our national language and it's like become Spanish. Like I think that if you're going to move here and live in our country, you should adopt our ways and learn the freaking language. Doesn't mean never speak your language. It just means you should learn our language to converse with us. We shouldn't have to learn your language to converse with you. And that sounds like if people think I'm a horrible person for thinking that, but it's like, why would you flee a country to go to another country, pursue the American dream, but not consider yourself an American? And how can you consider yourself an American if you refuse to adopt the American way, which is learning to speak the language? I just I don't understand why that is um, something that we can't say anymore. Like it's baffling to me. See the link above when it comes to oaths. Absolutely, the establishment is afraid of the people that elect. Paul did mention Mogadishu, which is where Black Hawk Down story takes place. I mean, I remember the movie Black Hawk Down, if it's anything close to the true story. I do not remember where it took place or what you're referencing. But anyhow, moving on, moving on. All right. Okay, I do want to talk about the Shane Gillis thing because he's flipping hilarious. And is he just trying to take this whole like UFC approach? Like, I'm gonna just so we're at this place where like we banned Bud Light, or not banned Bud Light, but we boycotted Bud Light. Those of us kind of in the conservative world, we didn't like what they decided to, go so far to the left and pander to certain things that I can't talk about on YouTube. But so we took our stand, we did our boycott, and is this something that's forever? And if so, we need to hold tight. But then you've got, and Shane Gillis is not like a confirmed conservative by any stretch, but he's a really, really funny guy. And he kind of pokes fun at both sides. He kind of dips his toe in conservatism, it sounds like. There's a really, really amazing Trump impersonation, actually. Um, but he's repping Bud Light. Is he trying to help like drag him back out of the gutter? Like, was the owner of UFC something White? He's hilarious. I love him. He's a really really great guy. Seems like an amazing guy to work for. But he basically was like, I can do anything I want, and like he doesn't think that like having Bud Light as a sponsor is going to destroy UFC, and he's probably absolutely right. So he's helping them dig themselves out of their hole. But it's like I don't know how to feel about that because UFC is probably the most flipping masculine thing there is, and he's one of the only people out there that is not like saying like my fighters can have any opinion that they possibly. Dana White, thank you. They can have any opinion they possibly want. I'm not going to put a leash on them or tell them what they can or cannot say. It is up to them. They can say whatever the hell they want. And and he's gonna help Bud Light. He's doing Bud Light a solid, and he's trying to take them back out of I don't the joke. They've just become almost like a joke at this point, and it's like forget and forget, forget and forgive. I think that's what it is. I think that's All everybody wants is an apology, but they're never going to apologize, guys. They're not going to, because they're not going to admit that they did something wrong. And like by a lot of people's standards, they didn't do anything wrong, I suppose. But they just, what the way I look at it, it's just a slap in the face that you don't know who your base is. That would be like Donald Trump getting up there and like saying that MAGA sucks. He knows who his base is. His base is MAGA. We support him in everything that he has done and will do. And if you were to get up there and literally alienate the base that supports you, like this woman that was, kind of in charge of all that, like basically was like poking fun at like frat guys. Well, frat guys drank your freaking beer. And you decided to just say the F with frat guys, we're gonna use Dylan Mulvaney. Fantastic. I'm pretty sure that Dylan Mulvaney and people like Dylan Mulvaney are not big beer drinkers. Just gonna go, like, maybe if like, I don't know, like White Claw wanted to use Dylan Mulvaney, like maybe that would make sense. But I just don't understand for one moment why Bud Light thought that was a good idea. Okay, but it's done. The boycott worked. We proved we could actually like hold the line on one damn thing. And now we've got the likes of Dana White and now Shane Gillis like saying, let's help him out. Let's bring him back. I know it's like, I don't know. My TikTok people for the most part know this, but I'm sober. I don't drink anyway. So I could give two shits. I'm never going to drink Bud Light again because I'm not going to drink any beer again. That being said, when I did drink beer, Bud Light was last on the list. Like that was what I drank when it was the last thing at the party. It was always just like piss beer. It was just gross. Um, but you drank it. It was a relatively cheap beer without being natty light. So I just don't. Kid Rock, I had heard that Kid Rock like went out against it, but then they found like saw pictures of him like drinking Bud Light, and then someone said those weren't real. So I don't know with Kid Rock. I don't know if like the pictures that were leaked were really him drinking Bud Light, or if he really, someone made those, they were fake, and he really still is boycotting Bud Light. I don't know on that. What's my go-to? My go-to, which I would show you because it's right beside me, but I'm pretty sure I'd probably get taken down immediately, at least on YouTube. Um, but I have two different. I have a 9 and I have a revolver, and this one is a Colt 45, and that's my go-to because I just feel the safest, um, because it's just so easy. My other one is rather new. I went to the Sig Sauer Academy and I got that reason recently, and it's like this really pretty like rose edition, but the clip is still hard as hell to like load. So I have more trouble with that one and I'm not as confident with it. This one I am a really good shot. I'm a really good shot with this one. So this is my go-to. But I want to get better with that. And I actually want to go back to the academy. My brother lives in New Hampshire. There's a Sig Sauer Academy there. Like it's beautiful. And they have all these like extensive training classes that are so cool. And I really want to sign up and go for like an entire weekend and just get super comfortable. I mean, I know you're always a little bit not comfortable, and you should be because it's such a powerful thing that's in your hands. But yeah, the magazine, excuse me, not clip. I'm not going to use all the correct terms. I apologize. Yeah, and that's one of the things that's the most frustrating about all this. It's like you expect if you vote for somebody and elect them, they're hopefully going to speak for you. They're proving to not necessarily, for that to be true. But what's even more frustrating is these unelected bureaucrats are making all these rules and all these laws, and we have no power over them because they do get back up. Texas born easy. What else? Did I miss anything down here? No, it doesn't look like it. Let's see what else. What else? Mm. What else is on my list? Oh, I did want to put this. Have you guys listened to this fact song? Because I'm hearing both sides. I'm hearing people making fun of it like it's absolutely ridiculous. And then other people are saying, like, well, it's kind of supposed to be ridiculous. Like, obviously, Ben Shapiro was not a rapper and he was a super good sport and he did this and it's freaking amazing. But I haven't heard it yet. And I actually wanted to listen to it and listen to it on here for like the first time. And I haven't I think I had it queued up here. Maybe it wasn't on here. Maybe it was on YouTube. There it is. That's, oh, that's just a video of him talking about it. Let me look at my. Have you guys heard it yet? No. Nobody's out. Nobody's answering me. And I've heard like a few different things because it doesn't matter like what you pay attention to. Somebody says something like negative and derogatory about everybody, and I have heard that Tom McDonald, like there's a lot of people that are saying that he's Canadian and that he doesn't really give a shit about any of this stuff, and they like talk shit about him. And I'm like, okay, like maybe that's true. Let's just say that for a moment that is true, right? Okay, he's frigging like all the stuff he's saying is stuff that people like they need somebody who's saying what we want to say. He's an independent artist who's putting this out. At the end of the day, if he goes home and he doesn't believe every frigging thing that comes out of his mouth, but he's singing to people that do believe it, then whatever. At the end of the day, I don't understand why people have to just. Here we go. Hmm. All right. Well, apparently it's more technical difficulties. I can hear it great. So I just assumed y'all could hear it. So I'm just jamming over here. Like, okay. So, I'm seeing that you guys said no sound, but it took a while for somebody to write that. And I'm like, oh, geez, no sound stinks. I'm so sorry about that. And then I see like this Greg, thank you for standing up for me. I'm not offended by anything. So the fact that he corrected me when I said the wrong thing, it didn't bother me. And so, but I appreciate you standing up for me, and I appreciate you. I know you can hear me, not the video. I'm getting that, but I'm bummed that you guys couldn't hear it because that's stupid. Because I can hear it in my headphones, so I just assumed that it would be coming through here. And when I did a video earlier, like I recorded a video, you could hear it. So it's just bizarre that all of a sudden you can't hear it on here. But I apologize for that. So my thoughts and opinions are whatever. I just think it's funny. I think it's funny. It's like obviously Ben Shapiro is not a rapper, but it was freaking hilarious. Trump is on our side. The GOP is not. Exactly. Like, that when your own party wants you gone as much as the Democrats want you gone, it's because he got some dirt on you. He's got some dirt on the GOP. He does. He does. And they are terrified of him coming back because when he says drain the swamp, he means both sides. And the thing is, hopefully they don't tie him up in court case after court case, or like God only knows what impeachment trial or this, that, or the other that they're going to try to come at him with. I just hope he literally just storms in there and just lays the hammer down and gets shit done and does not get distracted by a bunch of stupid bull crap, because that's what they're going to try to do. Good call on not drinking Bud, Bethany. I'm a Scotchman myself. Yeah, I don't drink at all. I will tell you that I was a lot of fun until I wasn't, and that was kind of the demise of my drinking days. I was definitely an alcoholic, and I'm really glad that I stopped because my life my life has gotten immensely better since I decided not to drink alcohol anymore. I have been a friend of Bill's for 32 years, never liked any product with Bud on it. Oh, awesome, Shaky. We have much in common, friend. The swamp is deep. Yes, it is. It's the Uniparty. Again, I don't know what I can say on YouTube. I don't know what time it is now. It's 9:02. I was going to try to like leave YouTube and just stay on Rumble and X, but X doesn't, yeah, if people are commenting on X, I can't see it. So I have no idea if they are. And if anyone is like, not many people are commenting on Rumble, so I can just sit here and talk to myself. I do generally, like, I always did my lives where I like to respond to the comments. So I like to talk to the people. It was the whole point of why I started doing it, is so that I could communicate with the people in the chat. That was always really like interesting and fun for me. So this trying to like fill space just talking, like this is the first time I've done this. It's just really kind of difficult, to be perfectly honest. Swamp, it's always been ours. That means run for office, local, state, federal, any elected position. So I want to talk about that actually. So because I've gotten so involved locally in politics, but I only opened my eyes in 2020. I don't have a political background. I didn't go to school for anything to do with politics. I have thought that it would be something that I would want to do, but I feel like I would get laughed out of like the position, in the sense that people would be like, you have no credentials that gives you like any reason to run. Yes, I do. I'm an American living in this country, navigating this country with common sense. So yeah, I don't have a degree in anything to do with politics or anything like that, but I think that's what we need to get back to. Like back to when this all started, and it wasn't their career, it was their side gig. They had a regular career and they served their country on the side. It was a sacrifice that they made. They didn't go into it completely just wanting like money and power. Maybe power a little bit, but like there wasn't a whole lot of money that went along with it. But now that it has become career, nobody is driven by actually wanting to make a change and do good for the people. They're all driven by greed and hunger for power, and it's just hard to decide who's really there for the right reasons, because they're all silver-tongued devils at the end of the day, and they all say the right thing, and we think, okay, I like what they have to say, they seem real, but who really knows, right? So I live in an area where I live where there's one position that would be essentially up for like to be open. And I'm part of my local RECs, and I'm involved in the local politics to an extent. Um, and I know straight out because they say they want an old, rich Cuban guy because that's the only person that they believe will get the Miami vote where I live in my district, which is like Miami to the Keys. So if I were to even say, hey, this is something I'm thinking of doing, I wouldn't even get the support of the people around me. So it's like, why would I ever even try? But I think that's the only way that we make a change is by actually running for something. And like, I mean, I guess I could try running for something that's like on a much smaller scale, start there and see. But it's just like, it's kind of frustrating. And it kind of also, they're gonna, if you do start out saying, okay, like I'm actually not driven by money or power, that's not something that drives me. Um, what drives me is saying I'm going to do something and following through and doing it and hopefully being successful at it, but that success doesn't always come with starting and finishing a project, unfortunately. But um if you don't go in easy to buy, easy to like be tempted by like dangling carrots of money or power in front of you, then they'll just throw a scandal out there. All of a sudden, there'll be some scandal. And being an alcoholic for 10 years, it would be fucking easy for them to find and make up some sort of scandal. I was like a blackout drunk. I probably couldn't even deny what they were saying. Yeah, a third party, a national MAGA party. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I don't know what just happened on my YouTube. Something happened over there. I guess there are still people here, but it's saying there's nobody in here. So I'm like, well, there's people commenting. So just do not get caught. The only thing necessary for evil to succeed is for good men to do nothing. I agree with that. Starts local, city council, sheriff. Change the culture. The right people will get in when we actually try. Yeah, and that's exactly, and I understand that and I know that. I thought of school board, but I feel like most of the people that try out for school board have children. I don't even have children, so I was like, are people going to be like, why is she want to be on the school board? She doesn't even have children. She doesn't even know what it's like to like understand like the education. Well, I was a kid once, like, but so that was been my only like kind of hold back when it comes to way too many of my conservative friends just can't seem to get that. Yeah, exactly. All right, let's see. Well, we've been going for an hour. I might see what else I have on my list here and then call it. And see if I can find something new and interesting. Because, like I said, I'm used to talking to 300 people. So when you're used to talking to 300 people, there's no like there's always something to talk about because people are just rapid fire in the comment section. You pay school taxes, that's for sure. I certainly do that. Prosecutor, Bethany? Prosecutor. I'm pretty sure you have to have a career to do something like that. All that matters is no folks to love our country and not be divided. Yeah, absolutely. Well, and that's the biggest thing. And I know that's something I have to be really careful about talking on YouTube because I know that they support that stuff. But I have this idea that is not I'm sure I'm not the first one to have this idea, but no one ever balked at the fact that we have ratings on movies, right? Rated R. I like all these other ones now. I don't even know what they mean exactly, but NC-17, blah blah blah, G, PG, PG-13, rated R, right? Pretty flippin' easy, right? No one ever thought that that was a bad thing, right? Put the fucking ratings on books. Why aren't there ratings on books? And then it's pretty friggin' easy. Some of these books have content in them that should be considered rated R, and that would keep it out of an elementary school. Then we don't have these people like pushing against with just using ideology and saying it should be in the school or it shouldn't be in the school. We all, anyone that has morals, I feel like knows that they shouldn't be in the school. But if it had a rating system, just like a damn movie, it would be like, okay, like this book is rated R. No, it very easily should not be in an elementary school library where an 8-year-old can read it. To me, that's pretty darn cut and dry. I don't understand why that's even a controversial thing. You do not need to have kids to be a school board member. And I have a niece and nephew, so it's not that I don't have any, like any experience. I just unfortunately we weren't graced with that, and and it's never going to happen, unfortunately, unless we decide to adopt. Brave New World, 1984, together. I know. Well, and I went and I think I had read 1984 a long time ago. Didn't remember much of it, but on I make a trip home to Maine, and I drive my built out van all the way to Maine by myself. It's like my favorite time of the year. And I listened on audiobook to 1984, and I was just like, "Holy crap." I feel like we're just years away from it now. Like, the thought police are coming for us. Like, we already can't say a lot of things. Like, now words are considered violence, and actual violence is not considered violence. It's like, what kind of upside down world do we live in now? Conservative Women of America calendar just needs more Bethany. It's funny that you say that because you guys that are on YouTube and Rumble, you don't like on I have a large following on TikTok, and it started because I was a bikini competitor and I was comfortable in a bikini. I made all these bikini jokes, and I was like, you know what? Like I was like, some of the people that follow me were kind of butthurt that they bought the calendar and I wasn't in a bikini. Like, they're like, "We know you from being the bikini girl on TikTok, and you're, like, one of the ones not in a bikini." They were so confused by that. And I was like, "I know, I'm sorry. I wasn't allowed to tell anyone or, like, say anything about the photo." So I was like, "You know what? Maybe I'm just gonna make my own calendar." And I told my husband, I was like, "I think I haven't done a photo shoot in a long time." And I was like, "It'll give me a really, like, good thing to like work out and like get back in like better shape for. And then I'll do just like a calendar with, some like good shots, but like some funny shots, like with guns and just true like American fishing because we have a boat and we go fishing, just doing like all American things. And it would just be like, a calendar of me. And like, not like, I know that sounds super like egotistical to say out loud, but I'm always trying to figure out what the hell everyone's like, why don't you have merch? You should have merch. And I'm like, I don't know. It's just weird to have merch, but I feel like that's something people would actually buy. Like if I, were just doing like American shit that like women, and that's kind of what the calendar was. But thanks, Max. I appreciate you. I mean, that was because I own fitness centers, so it was like that's why that shot, that's why we did that shot. Um, Most members with kids are seemingly clueless on these books being available to kids. I know. Well, and the thing is with that specifically is it doesn't matter much they're told and how many videos of school boards where like people are walking up. There was one where I saw a child start to read it. There's one where I've seen adults start to read it, and the school board like the board like stops these parents from reading this book because it's inappropriate to read in a school board meeting, but it's okay for my child to read it, right? Okay. Not sure how that works, but um it's like these videos are all over the internet, and then people still deny that these books are in their school. But did you not just see like the viral video that basically said, yeah, that book is in your school? It's baffling. Offering a chip insert and give them what? Just got second ad. Can you just click out of it? I don't know why there's ads in a live stream. I mean, I've never done a live stream, so I honestly don't know how it works, and that could be a thing that I turn on and off and don't know how to do that. So if that is the case, then I apologize. Do merch, yeah, I know, I know. I guess I will. But I mean, I have merch. I have a that I started, but none of it has, like, I think I put one thing with me on it. It's all like I had this one design that it's like a woman symbol and it says birthright on it. And it's an idea that I'm like, I really think this would sell a lot, especially to like women right now. Because we feel like we're basically being eliminated. Um, but uh connected the Shopify to the Printify, and I'm terrified to, like, promote it and go live because I don't know that I've got everything hooked up correctly. So if someone wanted to go on there and check my stuff out and order something and, like, report back to me, like, to be a test, I can probably refund your money or whatever. Like, I just want I mean, I know I can refund your money, but I mean, like, do it as a test so that, I'm asking you to go buy it, but then I'm gonna refund your money so that it's free because I need people to test it out. So that because I don't want to my education background, I went to college. I was supposed to go for a fashion design and I ended up going for like the travel and tourism, like hotel motel management, because that's what my family does. And then I did only 2 years of college, left college, and got my cosmetology degree. And I was a hairdresser for 20 years, owned two of my own salons, just closed the second one about a year ago because we moved to the Keys and I'm essentially retired now. So I've gotten into this social media thing because I'm trying to find a purpose and I really enjoy doing this. So, ooh, good Lord, I apologize, guys. So yeah, I'm trying to make something of this. I'm not monetized anywhere because I've been kicked off I've been kicked off always to monetize on every platform because of what I talk about. So that's why I've really been like, okay, it would be a fantastic if I could build my Rumble following because I think you can get monetized on Rumble and I wouldn't constantly be getting violations and kicked out of monetization. Because I don't even know right now, to be perfectly honest, if I have said anything on this live that's going to get me in trouble on YouTube. Like, I don't think I have, but I don't really know. Because when I had to do my re-education camp on, like, I was like, I didn't even speak any misinformation, but I had to literally go to re-education. That's what they call it. It's absolutely, and it's going to take 90 days for that violation to even fall off. Jeffrey, I could not agree with you more. And I'm not even opposed to the idea of making social media illegal for like kids. I know that that sounds crazy. They've been able to have it and to all of a sudden take it from them maybe sounds barbaric and horrible. But watching the mental health decline of these kids based on what social media is doing to their brain is absolutely horrible. And if we're going to continue to allow that to happen, and there's no consequences for any of these platforms, and then we have kids that are their mental health is declining to the point where kids are contemplating, taking their own life at rates larger than ever in history. That's terrifying. It's because of social media. So if we're doing that, like I don't disagree with it being illegal for kids. I know that probably sounds completely like people are like, "Oh my god, you're such a far right extremist." No, I just friggin' care about the future generations and like social media is destroying them. Like we have fully formed brains, but even adults are having a hard time coping with the hate that is allowed on these apps. And like, so but you don't see it on the left. Like, you even like literally side eyeball or just don't even agree with the ideology, and you're immediately canceled. But I mean, the stuff that people say to me in my lives, and I don't care. I have a thick skin, and the way I look at it is, I don't know the people on the other end. If my husband walked in that door and said something nasty to me, that would hurt my feelings because I know him, I love him, and I care about his opinion. but I don't know these people that are saying these things. So I'm never going to give them my power. It doesn't matter what they say to me. But the stuff that they say, if they are saying this to me and they're saying this to other people who maybe aren't as strong as I am, or just don't give a shit, um, I think it would really, really mess up their mental health. I really, really do. And I think it's dangerous even for adults. So that being said, so now you got grown ass adults that can barely even handle what the bullying that's happening on these apps. How the hell is a child going to deal with that? And I watched the social, was it this social, not social dilemma? No, it was, I think it came out about 6 years ago. Um, and this one scene really stuck with me. It shows a little girl and she had posted a video or a photo or something, and she got like 15 positive comments, and one comment said, "Nice ears, Dumbo." And the next scene, it shows her staring into the mirror with like tears coming down her eyes. She's trying to fix her hair to cover her ears because those 15 positive comments did not outweigh the one negative comment, because kids are so sensitive at that age, and like everything is about needing validation from their peers, and people can be just extremely mean on the other side of a keyboard when there's no consequences for their actions. And it's just it's really dangerous. The best is Facebook. They tell you that they remove your content but don't show you what it was, and then it says if you're student. Yeah, I don't even use Facebook anymore. I do have Facebook. I haven't deleted it. At one point, I made it like go away, but didn't completely delete it, so that I had photos that might have been on there from like, because I've had Facebook while I was still an alcoholic, right? So I was like, I have some like stuff on there I don't want to lose, but I don't go on there ever. My husband uses it. I don't use it at all. Waiting for this channel to get involved with the Daily Wire. I actually find it really, really odd that they're even trying to use YouTube, because Matt Walsh and Michael Knowles have both been like gotten so many strikes on YouTube that I don't understand why they don't just go to Rumble. They must have a contract with YouTube or something that they've got to fulfill before they can like go to Rumble, because it makes no sense to me why they are on YouTube as opposed to Rumble. Because because I'm a religious Michael Knowles watcher. I watch him every day. I went to the Daily Wire for Ben Shapiro and Candace Owens, and I watch Michael Knowles every single day. Shout out to him. He doesn't know I exist, but he is my absolute favorite, basically like talking head pundit at this point. Um, I love him. And then there's so many great people on YouTube that like you have to subscribe to get like their real thoughts on everything. I love Tim Pool, but like he can only talk about certain things before, like, because you have to be so concerned about getting a strike. And maybe when you have a channel as large as them, you can say a little bit more than maybe I can because my channel's small. I don't know. I don't really know how it all works. Knowing your problems with other platforms. I know, Shaky, you're the best. I appreciate you. Do I have an email for contacting you about sponsorship opportunities and such? Um, yes, I do. Did I just lose that? Where did that go? Someone just said, "Do you have an email?" It was An American Patriot. You said it, and I tried to click on your comment, and I hit something, and it went away. Um, but I don't want to just like post it publicly. I probably need to get a special email for that. But figure out a way to get it to you. An American Patriot. I'm sure there's ways that are easy in this app that are made for situations such as this, but I am not technologically inclined. So I should be able to, I'm sure, like connect an email that you guys can click on, but I think I need to make something specific. Seems like you got most of the pieces. Put them together. Stop getting in your own way. Elaborate. What you mean by that? Where I've got most of the pieces. put them together. Do I consider myself well versed in US history and the Constitution? I would say that I'm definitely learning more now, and I remember a lot from history, but I did not find it interesting when I was young, and I only retain information that I find interesting. So now I'm enthralled with everything. Like, I wish the brain that I have now was the brain I had when I was young, and I would have sucked everything up like a sponge and probably would have gone a really different route in my life, but everything happens for a reason and the way it's supposed to. So now I'm trying to learn more about history and kind of go back. The Constitution, I carry a Constitution with me all the time. Do I have it memorized? No, I do not. But I always have it with me to like look, like if I were to misspeak, I could like go and I could check. I might even have one right beside me here because I have like 3 or 4 of those little mini guys. So no, I would need to learn a lot on like, actually being super versed in all of the amendments and not learning how to socialize. Yeah, they're not learning to socialize outside the virtual world is definitely a problem as well. When they sit in a room and they text one another rather than talking to one another, that is ooh, that's a great idea. That's really, really bad communication. They don't make eye contact anymore. And eye contact, I think, is really how you it's how you determine whether somebody has self-confidence, and it seems that none of them have self-confidence. It's certainly with, like, real face-to-face interactions, because everything that they do is behind a computer screen with 80 different filters on and blah, 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 and it's like, you don't even know who they really are. Get some of the ladies of the calendar together for a conversation, that would be an interesting conversation. I agree. Well, I'm gonna start my podcast, and I know everybody and their friggin' brother has a podcast. I get that. I understand that. Um, but I used to do one, and it started to become successful, and then one of the guys that I was doing it with just kinda dropped out, and then me and the other guy, our schedule just kept conflicting, and we just couldn't make it work, and it kinda ended. So now that I got my gear and my computer and everything is up, I'm starting that again. So I'm gonna start it by myself, and I'm actually looking for guests to come on, right now. I have a couple of people lined up that I'm going to interview, but that is a really great idea, and maybe they would give me the time of day considering, we were in the I don't know. I don't know if they would or not. I don't know any I have met Riley Gaines in real life. She spoke at my, Reagan Day dinner that my REC put on. Super nice girl. We met her husband. He was so nice too, but other than that, I don't know any of them personally, so and I can't say I know her personally, so well, they're smart enough for the the phones. They know how to run them easier than we do. I just don't think that their brains are developed enough to understand the impact that social media is having on them. It was you. Yeah, I know. We are the people. Okay, let me take a photo. I'll find a way to get it to you. I just don't want to give you my person. I don't want to put my personal email out there for everyone, and I don't have an email that is for you guys yet. I guess I didn't know I needed one, and now I do. How about just asking her out to her face? Send her a DM. Yeah, I know. They slide into the DMs, all that stuff. We're the people that had me worried. I'm glad I know who asked for the email because I wouldn't ever do that. Need someone- Yeah, it's definitely and I got thinking about this. Oh, because okay, I think I can talk about this. Not really sure. I think this is what got get me in trouble on TikTok, but so I was talking about this. I don't know where you guys lie on the conspiracy theory, you know, like whatever, ruler, but I saw this video where this guy worked for FEMA and he was just like just letting you guys know, like, generally, when you work for FEMA, they start training, like, the people that are, working for FEMA and volunteering for FEMA for what they predict to be happening in the next year. So whether it's tornadoes, hurricanes, like whatever natural disasters there are, they get you prepared for what to do in the case of that scenario. Well, this year, what they're preparing them for is social unrest, mass shootings, and blackouts. And he's like, just letting you know that. Like, just putting it out there that that's what FEMA is concerned about happening this year. Okay. So, I've been doomsday prepping, not gonna lie. I mean, it's could be going better, but I definitely am like, I'm learning to can, I'm learning to do all this shit. We got a generator. I got this like hydroponic thing that's like growing vegetables in my house. I'm starting to grow vegetables. And it's like, okay, I can't believe I'm one of these people that is saying this right now because I used to make fun of doomsday preppers. And but my eyes weren't open. I actually trusted the government then because I didn't know anything about the government. Now I've lost all faith and all trust. So I'm like, I really feel like there's going to be some crazy black swan event, possibly, maybe before the election. Who knows? And if FEMA is literally training people for the possibility of that happening, that's kind of terrifying. It almost like validates a lot of the people that are a little bit scared of that happening. And I'm just like, okay, so I'm not completely crazy. There's other people out there that are definitely aligning with, what I'm saying. So we've been stockpiling because this is my husband's theory. He's like, just letting you know, when it all goes to shit, money isn't going to matter because guess what's going to be money? Bullets. And I'm like, so we're good that way. I'm gonna start like canning and dehydrating vegetables and buying like large stocks of frigging rice and shit. We live on the canal. We could literally fish and get enough food like for our dinner. So like I'm not worried about going hungry, but it's crazy that it's even something that I have to say out loud and think about. Reconciliation Memorial in Arlington. I am not for removing any statues. I think that removing statues is erasing history. It's not validating that what they did was okay. It shows how far we've come. In those days that was considered to be okay, but the forefathers, all the people there are statues of, I don't know which one exactly that statue is, so I don't want to misspeak on that, but they basically, or the forefathers of our country, they paved the way. They did all these amazing things. Did they own slaves? Yes, that was allowed then. And now we are many years later and we know that that is wrong. But to tear down that statue is erasing history. And when you erase history, you're doomed to repeat it. So I don't think that any statues should ever be removed, regardless of what they did in their life, because that doesn't discount the amazing things that they did to pave our future forward for our country. But that's just my thoughts on that. I'm sure if I had a liberal audience, they would harshly disagree with that. But isn't the point of history to show where we've come? Like, yes, sir. Yes, sir. And then again, I don't know what I'm allowed to talk about because I don't live stream on YouTube. So I might get myself in trouble talking about some of this. Just saying. So as far as like especially the prepping stuff, like I don't know. I'm just saying, like I tell all my people on there, like it might sound crazy, but so let's say it doesn't happen. Like you can never be too prepared, right? Like if it does happen and everyone's like, "Oh my god, you are crazy." Like that's never going to happen. And then all of a sudden it happens. And like there's no technology, there's no phone, you're not calling for anything. They're rioting and looting in the streets in the cities. You can't do anything. Everybody's literally fighting for the shit that they have. You can never be too prepared. You're never going to go, "Oh man, what a stupid thing I did by stalking this little fucking cellar building thing under my house. Like, it's just like you're gonna go, oh man, I should have listened to that crazy lady on YouTube. Because it's not exactly, Max. That is such a great way to put it. Because that's the thing. We're always trying to be better. That's the thing about America. We're not saying we got it all flipping figured out. We sure as shit don't have it all figured out. And I'm pretty sure we got our hands, the government has their hands in some dirty ass like world politics and stuff that I can't even wrap my head around at this point. We are not perfect. We're not. But we have good people here that are trying their damnedest to be better people. And all people want to do is condemn everybody for every single thing. It's not conducive to moving forward, that's for certain. They just want to live in the past. They want to say that we're as racist as we were in 1950. They want to gaslight us and convince us of that. I just and some people are so easy to lead down that route. It's so easy to tell them like this is true. And this is my theory on the Mandela effect. So I used to think, you listen to all the people who talk about like the CERN, disrupting like the particles, and there was a timeline leap, and like some people are on this timeline and some people are on this timeline, and that's why there's no cornucopia in the fruit of the loom, blah blah blah, or what Berenstain, whatever, like all the stupid things, right? I am convinced it's like 1984. It's a social experiment. They are just trying to see how many things that they can convince us and gaslight us into not even believing our own memories. So then they can use that as a gauge and they can go, okay, we can literally convince them to question their own memories. We can make these mother effers believe anything we want. That's what I'm thinking. Otherwise, there's this girl that went down like a huge rabbit hole with Fruit of the Loom, and she dig up a bunch of stuff and found out that there's even a patent change or something on their logo, and that there was some sketchy stuff that went with like some of the, like, I don't know, it was the water supply or something and they poisoned a water supply, and like to avoid some sort of scandal, they changed. So she found all this like info, so maybe that was a marketing strategy to get them out of something, maybe, but I kind of think it's all just a social experiment. Let's see how much of the population we can completely gaslight into believing whatever we tell them. That they can't even believe their own memories. Exactly, we are the people. Good Lord, I learned absolutely nothing. I'm dumber for being here. Well, by all means, Randy, I didn't invite you here, so you can certainly leave. But thanks for your input. Thanks for weighing in. The system is rigged. Wish I didn't, but sadly I believe this. Yeah. Don't know your husband, but we'd be friends in real life. Yeah, he's pretty badass. It's some of the ladies of the yeah, I read that. Name one country that has been perfect. There's no perfect countries. Bounce. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, nobody's figured it out, that's for sure. And it's really hard to figure out because human nature takes over and there's some evil shit in this world and they're in every country and half the time they're all connected. So, yeah, don't get me started, Greg. Don't get me started. I have a whole theory on that. I am convinced that's going to happen. I was literally convinced that that's what happened in Miami, but it just turned out to be, I think, some like teenagers in Miami were just gaslighting people. And I know I've said gaslight a lot, but I've actually used the term correctly the couple of times that I've used it because I think it's such an overused word that people use it when they don't even know what it means. But when they were like talking about the aliens and what have you in Miami, I was like, okay, I'm sorry. I don't believe that they were actually aliens there, but I sure as shit wouldn't put it past some sort of holograms because I had heard a rumor back in like 2020 when I went down my rabbit holes. I saw a video. I do not remember where I saw it, how I found it. I would do anything to find it again so that I could see, now that I've grown so much, if this was even a guy speaking that was something that could be trusted or not. But I just remember he was this guy that either knew somebody high up in the military or he knew someone high up in like the elite puppet masters or something, who basically told him that when or if COVID failed and didn't like sail us into the Great Reset, that the next thing they would use would be aliens. And then lo and behold, in like 2021, I started hearing them talk about aliens on the news, like things that you never heard them talking about aliens on, and like more and more, and it just keeps ramping up every year since 2020. There's more and more talk of aliens when like you spent the last like 75 years denying that even Area 51 existed and like that there you have any sort of information on anything, and now all of a sudden we just believe in aliens like it's just known. Like I believed that there must be aliens until the government told me that there might be aliens, and now I don't know if I believe it anymore. I've seen some shit on here in the hill country several times. No kidding. I know nothing about Afghanistan. I thought it was a desert, so that shows how geographically unaware I am. But I just kind of, for some reason, thought that it was very like mostly desert. So if there's a beautiful part of Afghanistan, I have not seen it, and I've clearly made assumptions. All right, what else? I feel like I've covered a lot, guys. It's almost been 2 hours. Y'all are getting kind of quiet, and I'm getting kind of tired, so I might call it quits for the night. But I do let me get you guys' input really quick. I only have like 16 people, like maybe 20 people total. So I do want to make this a regular thing so I can start to grow. So I want to choose a certain time on a certain night and always do it so that hopefully I start to grow like a number of people that actually come and watch me regularly. So if you guys could just like before you peace out, just like throw a date and a time in here, maybe an evening and a morning or like mid morning that you think would be great. Cause I think that's what I'm going to do 2 times that I always go live on all 3 of these platforms, just like I am now. Probably an evening time and a morning time. What you think would be a good time. And then I'm going to try to work that out. So over during the war on terrorism. Yeah, I'm going to have to look into that. Show, gotta get ready. I don't know about aliens. Know a lot about Afghan. All right. Check out Bethany. It's been great. All right. Well, I'm not getting any times from you guys, but I'm gonna if you take a moment, maybe go back into like one of my videos and just say, hey, this time is great for me because I'm just trying to figure out a time that I would be the most successful and kind of start there. 4 a.m. comes early. Good night, all you Patriots. All right. Thank you guys so much. I truly appreciate you. 9 to 10 a.m. Thursday. All right. Tonight's time was great. All right. Well, I appreciate you guys. You could have been doing anything. You said you stayed here and you listened to me. Maybe it was 5 minutes. Maybe you were here for the whole time. Doesn't matter. Your time is valuable and I appreciate it. So thank you so much for tuning in. I hope to continue to grow and thank you guys for being at the very beginning with me, um, supporting me as I hopefully move along and find some success on these platforms. So thank you again. I hope you have a blessed night, and I will see you all again very, very soon. Take care. Sweet dreams. Stay blessed.